One of my biggest regrets in my toxic relationships was that I gaslighted my children and I tried to downplay the behavior of the toxic person. I did it to myself, I did it to family members, friends, everyone. I rationalized the behavior. Like, it wasn't as bad as it seemed. He was stressed, he didn't mean it, things like that. And I'm sure on a subconscious level, it was a manipulation, but consciously, I wasn't trying to manipulate. I was trying to make everybody happy, get back to that peaceful state that we enjoyed as a family instead of, this person's mad and this person's mad. And that just made life really stressful. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori. I'm a certified coach, a former teacher. I have a master's in school counseling. And now I've dedicated my life to helping empathic people pleasers go from having zero boundaries, feeling insecure, and stuck in a toxic relationship to setting healthy boundaries, loving themselves so that they can find peace, confidence, and joy. And today I'm going to share 10 ways that we rationalize the behavior of toxic people to ourselves and others. And at the end, I'll share some ways that I am going to no longer allow that in my life, ways you can also take on to no longer allow these toxic people and their bad behavior. Instead, we're going to choose honesty because, I always thought of myself as an honest person, but when I was in toxic relationships, I wasn't really being honest with myself or anyone else because I was rationalizing and making excuses for the other person. So my mother was a people pleaser, an enabler type personality. I'm sure my grandmother was. I don't remember a lot of details about her relationship with my grandfather, but I could say grandmothers on both sides. But don't you think that our culture and society teach girls especially to be that kind people pleaser type, giving, loving, keep your opinions to yourself, don't speak your mind. If you do speak your mind, then you're either a bitch or you may be too sensitive, or maybe you're a drama queen. So we get all those things thrown on us. When we have a relationship with a toxic person, whether that be a friend, coworker, relative, or a romantic partner, they know how to exploit your people-pleasing behavior. They recognize that in you from the first time they meet you, and they know how to draw that out of you. They know how to get you to place your loyalty in them, and they sense that you're going to give them what they want. And in fact, you'll oftentimes go above and beyond to give them what they want. So they love to have relationships with empathic people pleasers. And, they know that you will excuse their behavior. You'll say to yourself or someone else, like I said before, they didn't mean it. They were just stressed, having a bad day, or some other excuse why this person is being so rude or mean. So I've come up with 10 ways just from my own past and past clients, things that they've told me they've said, to rationalize this bad behavior. So see if any of these resonate with you, and I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments if you've used any of these, or you've heard other people use them with you, like maybe a parent or a family member. So number one, they were just stressed. I mentioned that one already, but what this does is, even though we're not saying it out loud, we're saying to the other person that was involved that your feelings don't matter. They're not real. I know you felt sad or angry, but you don't have the right to feel that right now because this person is going through something. So again, even though you may not mean it to sound that way, that is in fact what you're saying. So, and whether or not this person is going through something difficult or not, they don't have the right to treat people badly because of it. So I know people can be in stressful situations. You may have done it yourself. I've done it, where you're angry and you lash out at somebody else, but it's their responsibility to go back and apologize and make amends, not your responsibility. So number two, they're a good person. So that's pretty much saying, like, yeah, you're angry at them and yeah, you don't like what they said, but they're really a good person. So again, it's like you don't really have the right to feel the way you're feeling right now. And that's not really fair that we do that. Okay, I messed up on my numbering, but number three, they didn't mean it. So again, this is just negating the other person's feelings. You're saying if they did what they meant to do, it would have come across much kinder, more loving. However, you don't really know that. Maybe they said exactly what they wanted to say. Maybe they really do feel the way that they felt when they said that awful thing. You don't know. So again, you're making excuses for this person. Number four, everyone does it sometimes. So this one is saying, like, yeah, this person hurt you, but everybody says something mean sometimes, or everybody does this awful thing sometimes. So in other words, it's okay that this person hurt you because everyone else does it too. And this statement, once again, is just negating the feelings of the target, making them feel their emotions are not warranted. Okay, number five, it's no big deal. So again, just diminishes the feelings of others. Number six, ignore them. Now that could be good advice sometimes, but when a person is chronically mean or just rude, you're letting them get away with something horrible by just saying ignore them. So while it's okay to ignore somebody at work that you can't really do anything about their behavior, or even this person, this toxic person in your life, you can't change their behavior. So yes, sometimes it's good to ignore them, but if this is happening on a continual basis, it's something that you need to handle by either changing the way you interact with them or possibly leaving the relationship, going low contact or no contact, depending on who this person is. Okay, number seven. Well, you didn't do XYZ. So this is kind of putting the blame back on the victim or the target. You're saying that if they had done the thing that they said they were going to do, then this person wouldn't have acted out. And that's not okay either, because you're just shifting the blame. That is a tactic that a toxic person uses. And so you're putting yourself on the same level as the toxic person. So this is like saying, yes, your dad did say something critical about your boyfriend, but you didn't tell him ahead of time that he was coming over. Or yes, your boss did steal the credit for your project, but you didn't tell her that she shouldn't. So it's not fair to the victim. I believe we're on number 8. Those people are bad anyways. So this one is putting the blame on somebody else's bad behavior. So this person acted bad because this other person acted bad. And so that makes it okay. Which it doesn't make it okay. Just because somebody does something awful doesn't mean that that gives you the right to do something awful as well. So, like, as a teacher, often kids would do something hurtful and another child would lash out, and they would usually do something much worse. So they would be the one to get in trouble. And I would tell them, it's usually the person who retaliates that gets in trouble. It's not the person that does the first thing, because the teacher or the adult misses the first thing. What they catch is the second thing. So don't do it. So anyways, that doesn't make it okay just because somebody else did something bad. And number 9, it's not as bad as what blank did. So this is saying you don't have it as bad as somebody else, this other person over here. So suck it up and, stuff your feelings down. They don't matter. And then number 10, they had a bad childhood. So in other words, you're saying they don't know any better and you should forgive them, which it's not fair. Just because somebody had a bad childhood, they can choose to change their life and be better in the future. Like, how many people do you know have been in a terrible situation in childhood and they went on to do something wonderful and amazing with their life? Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you have had a really traumatic childhood, but you don't lash out at other people. You're not mean and cruel. So you don't have to forgive that kind of behavior just because of their background. And like I said, these are just a few examples. Let me know if you've seen any of these or if somebody in your family member has used them on you. Just comment down below. So what happens when we rationalize the bad behavior of others, they don't have to take accountability for their actions. They don't have to make amends to other people, and they feel free to continue behaving the way they're behaving because you're excusing it for them. So for some people that are highly narcissistic, it wouldn't matter if you let them experience the consequences of their behavior. Like, let's say your kids get angry with your spouse and they refuse to have a relationship with him. That won't necessarily make a narcissistic person change their behavior, but they'll move on to find another target often. But if you want to keep this person in your life, you have to allow them to experience these consequences. And you also have to allow your children and other people that you care about a chance to experience their own emotions. And like I said before, I want my own children to know how to handle situations where somebody's being cruel and mean and rude. I want them to be well adjusted and not just let other people in their lives pile on blame, guilt, and shame. And I don't want them making excuses and rationalizing the bad behavior of others. I think the Amazon guy's about to come, so my dog might go crazy. Okay, so if I had it to do all over again, I would change the way I behave, and I will for the future. In the future, I will let the toxic person make their own apologies and amends to the people that they care about. And my loved ones should be allowed to feel their authentic emotions with me listening empathetically and not giving advice to them like, well, next time try this or do this instead, without them asking for my advice. Because a lot of times what people want is just for you to listen. They want to know that you hear them and that you understand. I will not gaslight myself by making excuses for the bad behavior of others. And again, just like with my children, if I want to be a healthy adult, I have to allow my own emotions and work through them in a healthy way. And I will also set boundaries around my own behavior in the future. I will not allow somebody to speak to me in certain ways. I will not allow them to be cruel, mean, unkind, bullying to me. I will either leave the room, leave the house, whatever I have to do to get away from that type of behavior. I'm not allowing it in my life anymore. I will speak my needs and feelings clearly and concisely in future relationships whenever I'm in conflict. And I'm going to surround myself with people that treat me and my children with kindness, love, understanding. I'm not going to allow somebody that's disrespectful and degrading and humiliating to be in the presence of me and my children anymore. At least that's my plan. So don't allow yourself to rationalize bad behavior anymore of this toxic person in your life. Choose honesty. So, when you're rationalizing, pretty much you're lying to yourself and your children. You're making excuses that are just like lies about their behavior. So instead you can say things like, yes, that was a mean thing to say. Are you okay? How would you like to handle this? Maybe they want to handle it. Maybe they want you to handle it. If it's a child, especially, you as an adult need to be the one to handle it. You need to protect them, get them out of the situation if possible. Don't let them stay in a situation where somebody is being very demeaning and devaluing to them. If the behavior is directed at you, you can let your feelings be known to the toxic person, and then same as for your kids, remove yourself from that situation. And then you'll need to express your emotions because you may be feeling anger, sadness, grief, shame, guilt. The list goes on of all the negative emotions you may feel after being treated this way. And if you just stuff them down and you don't express them, then what'll happen is over time, you'll start having health conditions. You'll have raised cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. You will possibly feel anxious, depressed. So it's really important to feel through your emotions. How can you do that? You can do it lots of ways. Journaling is one that I like to do. You could talk to a friend, somebody that you really trust. You could talk to a family member that you trust. You can speak to a coach like me. You can speak to a therapist. Make sure it's somebody that's trauma informed, and yeah, just work through those emotions. You might have another way that you do it, like playing a sport or exercising or painting, playing music. There's all kinds of ways that you can express your emotions, but it's just really important that you let them out. So that's really all I have for you today. Thanks so much for joining me. If you want more information on my coaching, check the links below, and I hope this helped. Let me know again what you have experienced with rationalizing of bad behavior, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.